How's it, everyone? Welcome to another string review right here on OpenCourt. I'm Kent, and today I'm testing out a string that is used by professional player Matteo Berrettini, and that string is the Signum Pro Firestorm. Let's check it out. So I know pro players' gear is somewhat a well-kept secret. Strings, not so much. This string, Signum Pro Firestorm, is supposedly what Berrettini uses. You guys can confirm or deny it down below. I'm not 100% sure, although if you look at this screenshot here, it has that same color of the string, so I'm pretty sure he does still use Firestorm. Berrettini is a former Wimbledon finalist. He's a very hard-hitting, hard-serving player. He hits very flat, so supposedly the Firestorm is good for those types of players. So the Firestorm comes in 3 gauges, 130, 125, and 120. I'm testing out the 125mm gauge, 17 gauge. It is a simple round string, and one set of this costs around $15, and it comes in this gold metallic color, as you can see in Berrettini's racket. So I looked online and I couldn't really find much information regarding this string in terms of its construction or technology or anything really put into it. It's a $15 string that's more expensive than 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐿's strings. It's cheaper than 𝐦𝐥𝐸𝐺 strings. So it's in that kind of mid-tier polyester range, which makes it seem like there should be something in here that is supposed to be marketable, but I couldn't really find anything on this string. It's a string made in Germany. So maybe you guys, if you guys know more about this string, you can comment down below what's in it. But as far as I could find, I really couldn't find any information regarding the construction of this string or how it's supposed to play besides what was written on Tennis Warehouse and the Signum Pro website. According to Tennis Warehouse, it's a crisp string with a comfortably firm response suited for advanced players with big strokes, similar to Berrettini. Obviously, I cannot hit anywhere as hard as Berrettini, but I am an aggressive baseliner when it comes to my ground strokes. I like to step in, attack returns, but I'm primarily a serve and volleyer and doubles player, so I like to have some touch and feel at the net. And how Tennis Warehouse describes this string, it's a crisp string, which is great. I love crisp strings. And it's supposed to be comfortably firm. That's perfect for me. I don't like overly stiff strings because I don't really get any feel and I don't get any pop off the string bed, but I don't like really soft, mushy, and springy strings either because my returns are going to sail to the fence. So according to the description, this string should play somewhat similar to a lot of strings I like. So I got the Signum Pro Firestorm strung up in my Extreme Tour. Obviously, I had to string it in this Extreme because Berrettini endorses the Extreme. I don't think he actually uses this. He probably uses an older model. But since he endorses it, I was obviously going to put it in this racket. And this is probably my current favorite racket right now. It's either this or the Speed Pro. The Boom has kind of fallen one tier down in terms of my favorite rackets. So I'm excited to try this out. This is the 125mm gauge. I got it strung at 54 pounds because that is my test tension. And I'm excited to get this out on the string. It's supposed to play similar to what I like. So let's get on the court and let's test out the Firestorm. But before that, if you guys like this content and want to see more, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button to keep the reviews coming. So let's start out with the pros of the Signum Pro Firestorm. First off, this string has a very interesting response. It's comfortably firm but can still be a bit springy at times. It isn't super crisp, but it isn't muted either. The closest comparisons I can think of are the 𝐦𝐥𝐸𝐿 Smart and Head Lynx Touch. Those strings are designed to play soft and lively with slower swings and play stiffer and more control-oriented on faster swings. The Signum Pro Firestorm doesn't have any tech like that I know of, yet it played like one of those adapting polys. And to be honest, I don't like 𝐦𝐥𝐸𝐿 Smart or Lynx Touch at all because they don't provide a consistent response and they lack spin potential, and the Firestorm unfortunately suffers from the same setbacks, but I'll save that for the cons section. One thing that the Firestorm does very well is to provide good control on full, fast swings, especially if you hit more flat. It is fitting that Berrettini uses this string because unless you can swing fast like him, you won't benefit much from the Firestorm's feel. I could feel the ball being pocketed into the string bed on fast swings, and it allowed me to slingshot ground strokes back over with good depth and penetration. I also felt I had good directional control from the baseline because of the pocketing. I felt confident changing direction and even hitting down the line returns and doubles, which I normally don't do because it's a low percentage shot. If you are a powerful baseliner that hits more flat, the Firestorm is a string that will provide you with much needed control without a stiff, harsh feel. Because of the interesting feel of the Firestorm, I actually felt this string perform well at net, particularly on touch shots. Like I mentioned earlier, this string has a lively bounce on slower contact, and that allowed me to gauge my strength on drop shots and angle volleys much better than something without much bounce that I have to put more push into. All I really had to do was stick my racket in the path of the ball, firm up my wrist, and the ball bounced off with just the right amount of height and depth to hit good drop shots and angles. My return game felt multi-dimensional with this string because I could confidently swing out and pressure my opponent with aggressive swings, but also throw in a slice return or even a drop shot return on slower serves, which would catch my opponent completely off guard. I love being able to play a crafty, deceptive style that confuses my opponent, and the Firestorm allowed me to play aggressively, which further frustrated my opponents. The Firestorm also feels great on standard volleys, those that I'm simply trying to block back or hitting that first volley while approaching the net. The Firestorm provides a comfortably firm feel while also providing a little pop, which made volleying easier than something that is too springy or muted. I felt confident approaching the net and hitting low volleys because the firmness gave me good feedback to block the ball back low over the net, but it also provided enough punch for me to put away mid and high volleys. But the area I felt the Firestorm shine the most was unquestionably on the flat serve. This was my favorite part of the playtest, and it was one of the best strings I've used for the flat serve in a while. The Firestorm strikes the perfect balance between power, control, and accuracy on the flat serve. I usually struggle with net clearance on my flat serve because of my shorter reach, but the Firestorm provided good pop for me to clear the net easier. It also had very good power for a firmer string, and I felt it stiffening up when I hit the sweet spot, which helped with the placement. If I ever got the flat serve into the corner to the backhand side, the return rarely came back. I had a couple service aces with my flat serve as well, and I almost never get any service aces. Overall, the power and placement of the Firestorm made flat serving really easy and fun. The pace the string added created problems for my opponents combined with the low skidding bounce. The slice into the body was also another serve I like to throw in. It was really satisfying when my opponent thought I was going to hit a flat serve down the middle, but instead my slice serve curved into the body for an easy point. Overall, I liked the Firestorm when I was teeing off on flat ground strokes from behind the baseline and really driving through the ball. I definitely recommend it for powerful flat hitters with long, fast strokes, much like Berrettini himself. This string also holds tension relatively well. However, the Firestorm is not something I could use on a daily basis for a couple of reasons, and let's get into those now. So let's talk about the cons of the Signum Pro Firestorm. Unfortunately, I struggled to play my aggressive first strike style of tennis from inside the baseline due to the lack of spin from these strings. I barely felt any snapback, and I struggled to keep my aggressive forehands and approach shots inside the lines. I like to step in and take aggressive cuts at the ball, especially on returns. Shaped polys naturally pull the ball down a bit more than round polys, which is why I prefer them. The Firestorm did not provide good diving action toward the tail end of my shot, and this resulted in me sending a lot of aggressive shots long. I really had to focus on coming over the ball on my forehand in order to keep the ball down. Even when I tried to take a rip from my forehand during a normal rally, I would send the ball past the baseline and it wasn't even close. My shots were landing out by feet rather than inches. I especially struggled with approach shots for the same reason. If I swung with my typical low to high trajectory on my forehand, I would sail the ball long. I wasted quite a few strong first serves as I would set up for the approach forehand only to miss it. This rattled my confidence when I played singles, and I sometimes pulled back on my shots just to keep it in. I want my gear to let me play my aggressive shots with the utmost confidence, and I wasn't getting that on ground strokes with the Firestorm. Also, the lack of spin meant my kick serve was not effective, and therefore I couldn't approach the net confidently. I used my kick serve on 80% of my second serves, and I didn't feel I could rush the net after because it was not getting a noticeable high bounce on my serves. It's a good thing my flat and slice flat hybrid serves were working well, otherwise I probably would have been forced onto the defense more than I'd like. My pure slice serve also didn't really have much mid-air movement, and I couldn't get the ball to slide outside the court from the deuce side like I can with a string that gives me more snapback. Overall, the lack of spin made me not confident on my kick serve, and my aggressive forehand, and those are shots I rely on frequently to not just win points, but to also set up my net approach. So to sum up the cons, the lack of spin potential is a big deal breaker for me. I just couldn't get comfortable hitting aggressively when stepping inside the baseline. This string is definitely more for a powerful hitter that wants a comfortably firm feel. If I were to use this string again, I would probably only use it in a hybrid with a shaped poly main to give it more spin potential. So, who is the Signum Pro Firestorm for? Well, predictably, it is meant for someone like Matteo Berrettini. I'm not saying you have to hit as hard as him, but someone who is an aggressive baseliner and likes to pound the ball flat will benefit more from this string than someone who swings from low to high. If you are more of a vertical swinger, the Firestorm will more than likely send a lot of your shots past the baseline as it did for me. And I don't even have that much of a vertical swing. If you are a defensive pusher, the lively response will complement your defensive game, as I often found defensive slices, lobs, and outstretched shots to be rather reliable. And if you're a big server, I think you will thoroughly enjoy this string. So that does it for my review of the Signum Pro Firestorm. I wish I could have liked this string more, as it was advertised as being crisp and comfortably firm, and that is the category of poly that I like the most. But let me know what you guys think of the Firestorm in the comments. Let me know your favorite Signum Pro strings, and I'll see you on the next review. Thank you for watching this review of the Signum Pro Firestorm right here on OpenCourt. If you guys like this content, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an OpenCourt.